G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How are we all doing on this lovely, lovely evening, I guess it is. It is been a bloody interesting week. The weather has been all over the shop. It's been raining, it's been cold, it's been summery. We've still got 2 weeks left of summer and it was bloody 7 degrees the other night. So explain that one to me. Besides that, I do have a topic to talk about today, and that is things I hate about motorcycling, alright? Now, ooh, lovely, lovely dead animal. There's a few things that I'm sure you can all relate to. Not everything is obviously universal, but I'll try and keep it relatively generalized. So we'll start off nice and simple. And this one, it's not for most of the American crowd, but that is lane filtering with cars who don't listen, or cars that are just generally rude about it. And I'm talking about the ones that, you go into lane filter and then they try and block you off on purpose. Now, in Australia, I imagine it doesn't happen as much in America because it's illegal in most places in America. But when you're just trying to filter, you're not hurting anybody. You're not slowing down anybody, you're just cruising through the middle, and no one is really losing there, right? You're just getting through the traffic, and they're like, nah, fuck ya, yeah, and then they block you off, and then you're like, well, that's not very nice. And then people get angry and they punch the mirrors, but that's not good either. So people who generally just block you off in traffic are a pain in the ass. No one really likes that kind of attitude, and for good reason. It's just, if you're doing that as a driver, you're just being a prick. I mean, I know it's illegal in a lot of places, but you're just being a dipshit when you're doing it on purpose. It's like, let's be honest, most places the bike will accelerate before you even realise what gear you're in, before you even clutch in your manual car if you drive a manual, and if you're not, be well off and truly in front of you before you even leave first gear. So, man, people get real pissy at bikers for no reason that's not justified, but that's number one. Alright, number two on my shit list is these kind of things on the right here, these little turning lanes, alright? They're completely fine, but the issue arises when there's cars in them, alright? You're coming through, now when you're riding, you're taught to ride here in lane position 1, okay? You got lane position 1, you got lane position 2, and then you got lane position 3, alright? Corresponding to the different points in the lane. Obviously, you're as a rider, you're entitled to the whole lane, but you are physically more visible by sitting in lane position 1 to the cars in front of you, alright? Now, the issue arises when you're riding in lane position 1 in this lane, and someone is in those middle lanes turning out, they can't see you half the time, and then a lot of they just generally miss you, or they pull out without realising, and that is, well, it's a big no-no for motorcyclists. The last thing you want is someone to pull out. So, for me personally, when I get to those situations, I go to the lane position 3 as opposed to lane position 1, or I change lanes because I just don't trust being in those sort of positions, alright? I hate it. Same thing happens with side streets. I generally like to roll my throttle off as opposed to, I almost got a job down here, as opposed to doing the other stuff of where you just ride through or drive through comfortably. But you get paranoid. One thing I despise is coming up to intersections as well. Intersections as a motorcyclist can be rather scary because people just don't look. Like I said, my mate recently who went through the intersection got cleaned up because someone just turned into the intersection without looking. So basically any intersection where there's lack of visibility is not the best as a motorcyclist, okay? I have not ridden down this way in a hot minute. I actually don't know this road goes the whole way down. I've never done the whole road. But that's besides the point. One thing I hate, let's not stay in that situation there, is stopping at a red light, okay? Now, of course, everyone hates stopping at a red light, but as a motorcyclist, if you can't lane filter, stopping at a red light can be very, very dangerous, because a lot of the time, you're at risk of being rear-ended. So when people talk about getting, smacked on a bike when it's not your fault, that is fundamentally one of those, stages where it is literally you couldn't have done anything if you're not paying attention. And rightfully so. Like, when you're stopped at a set of lights, you shouldn't have to spend the whole time watching your ass just to make sure no one hits you. It's up to the people behind you to realise there's a vehicle there. Now, the thing is, a lot of those times where you watch those videos where people get rear-ended, right? It's like, they go, oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. But, brother, the bikers typically stop right up the back of another car. So even if you didn't see the biker, you would have rear-ended the shit out of the car in front of you. So a lot of the time I find that excuse to be rather lacking. It's such a rubbish excuse. So they go, I didn't see you there. But unfortunately, as a motorcyclist, you're going to have to get used to hearing, I didn't see you, which is a piss-poor excuse on a good day. But unfortunately, it's just what we have to endure. So driver excuses are up there on that list of things I dislike. Now, this one's a little bit more situational because it doesn't always happen, but pillion passengers who don't listen, okay? Pillion passengers who don't listen are more dangerous than they are worth your time. So it's very common for a pillion passenger to want to lean in the opposite direction to you when you are getting onto your motorbike. And look, that's completely fine because obviously they're not used to doing that sort of counter leaning and whatnot. Pick a lane, good sir. So when you're leaning into a corner, you're feeling good, and then they lean the other way because they feel like it's natural, and you go, all you're doing is upsetting their bike, please do the other one, and then they go, yeah, sure, but then they don't do it. Or they don't hold on because they don't want to look like they're hugging you, and they don't want to appear all fruity, but you're like, if you don't hold on, you're going to have a bad day. And then they still don't bloody listen, and it's just like, well, look, if you're not listening, we're just not doing this ever again. It's not worth the headache. Alright? Up next on my hit list is actually riding with other riders. Now, obviously, this is not directly in terms of every rider, but dickhead riders. Riding with dipshits who get angry, temper tantrums, can't ride sensibly. Stuff like that is not the kind of riders I ever want to associate myself with, because say you get cut off in traffic, which is a very common thing to happen to motorcyclists, and then they go up and punch a mirror. I don't want you around me because you're not good. Let's go down this way. I don't know what's through this area, and I'm curious. I may have made a mistake, but I'm just going to go for a cheeky ride through this zone. But bikers who can't control themselves typically are not the way I want to ever go. Mercia Avenue. Well, if this ends, well, I'll just come back out and go back on the road again. I felt like coming through the mountains for a little something different for you guys to watch. But yeah, I've gone on enough group rides where you can see the people who have no idea how to do riding in a sensible way. Well, boy, look at this. This is a steep incline. Oh. But yeah, generally I don't like it. People who do stunting, super speeding in areas you really shouldn't be speeding in, getting angry and yelling at people on the road. Like, I've been yelled at before on the road. And you know what I did? I smiled and looked the other way because I'm just not worth it. I was riding with a bloke and I was getting yelled at, and then the guy I was riding with started screaming at the bloke, and I was like, what are you doing? You're wasting your breath. This is an interesting area I found myself in, and I'm loving it. Look at these interesting houses. But yeah, on a motorcycle, it's just not worth putting yourself in that inherent danger. Oh no, my ND filter isn't going to like all this darkness here. Because at the end of the day, if someone starts picking a fight with you in a car, well, guess what? I'm sorry, but the car's probably going to win. Unless you leave, because if you speed off, well, then good luck on them catching you. But stuff like that, it's not worth the headache or the hassle. It's just, all you're doing is adding risk to a thing that's already inherently dangerous. Because, like, motorcycles aren't safe as is. Ooh, let's not go that way. That's a bad idea. Ooh, that was a fun little detour. Look at that view. Oh boy. Sorry, I'm distracting myself with goodness, because obviously coming with bad riding stuff, there's always good stuff. So maybe that's be the next video. Things I like about riding. But another thing you sort of got to hate about riding is riding on a hot day. Because unfortunately, is this the right way? Sure. When it's a hot day and you get stuck in traffic, well, your bike is just going to get hotter and hotter. Now, fortunately, the Honda Rebel, if you ride them, you know, they don't really put out that much heat. So it's not too uncomfortable to ride with. Whereas some of the other bikes, Ducatis, they like to scramble your eggs, as they were. And, well, if you're sitting in traffic on a hot day and you're just heating up, well, unfortunately, they don't tend to let you move to the point where you can finally start cooling them down, you know? So I try to avoid all that stuff. Did I just do a loop? I think I did. That's kind of hard. Yo, I did do a loop. That's kind of fat. Good, because I kind of wanted to come back this way anyway and continue down that way. Woohoo! Look at that. Detours are always fun, kids. Man, the one thing I do hate, definitely, is that you can't fill your motorcycle up while sitting on it. Because a lot of the tanks, like, are better. If you're sitting up straight, they'll fill up better. But I understand why, because too many dipshits have rode off without paying. Now, I know this problem is not common everywhere, because some places you can't get petrol unless you pay first, whereas Australia, you fill up, then pay. But too many people have taken that kindness and ruined it for the rest of us, because they just got greedy. And it's a damn shame, because having that luxury is something that, if they keep doing what they're doing, we're going to lose it, and we're all going to miss it. Oh, I know where I is now. I have a friend who works at the Peacock Bed. Would you look at that? Oh, do you know what's really good about where we just ended up? We've just got at one of the nicer roads to end the video around. Oh, I love it. I love it. But dude, dangerous cars in general, I hate riding around. Riding with other dipshits, I hate it. Riding around reckless riders, I hate it. Intersections, I despise it. Cars that are rude to you when you're lane filtering, awful. Just simple stuff like that. It's a shame, because it's really not that hardcore to treat a biker as another vehicle, but so many people and vehicles just do not. They really just sort of treat you as a better cyclist, because no one likes a cyclist, I'm sorry. Whereas obviously if you're in a car, they sort of give you a bit more respect. And it's a damn shame, because there's so many avoidable accidents that happen with motorcyclists just purely because the cars do not give them the attention that they need on the road. And if they did, well, the amount of crashes we'd have would be substantially less. But oh well, that's the joys of riding sometimes and the risks we take. So if you guys have enjoyed all this content, leave a like, comment and subscribe. Comment down below your own sort of pet peeves when it comes to riding and situations. I'd love to hear some more, because it's a forever growing list. But without further ado, take it easy, keep it cheesy. I do hope you guys have enjoyed everything. As always, ride safe, ride well, and let me take this corner first so I can hit this piece. So, first of all, another rider inbound. Lovely little thing. Take it easy, keep it cheesy, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace, bye!